Right. Right. Good evening and welcome to our regular council meeting for Monday, January 26th. I apologize for the little delay. We have some technical issues this evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order at 6:32. The town of Elk Point respectfully acknowledges we are located on Treaty 6 territory, the traditional land and ancestral lands of the First Nations and Métis peoples, and we honor their enduring traditions, wisdom, and cultural strength in our community. Joining us tonight, we do have a delegation. We have Scott Miller, the Executive Director for the North Saskatchewan Watershed Alliance. So welcome, Scott. Thank you for joining us. And now we have a security alert.
Technically, she's about.
There you go.
Well, first of all, thank you very much. First of all, thanks for the invitation to come out and present. As you are aware, every year the North Saskatchewan Watershed Alliance, the NSWA, because the rest of it's a mouthful, we ask for municipal contributions to support our operations, and it's always a pleasure to come out to council and tell you guys a little bit about what we do and some of the latest things that we've had on the go. There we go. So any conversation about the NSWA kind of has to start with a little bit about the watershed. It's a big watershed. It's 57,000 square kilometers, and the river inside Alberta is about 1,200 kilometers long. It's a pretty diverse watershed. The top end of the watershed is, as everybody is quite familiar, is in the mountains. It transitions into the sort of the parkland region and then into agriculture as we get out here to the eastern end of it in Alberta. Tons of people in this watershed, 1.4 million people roughly. As you already know and are aware, we've got all the industry that's in Alberta is represented in this watershed: forestry, oil and gas, agriculture, extended value agriculture, pharmaceuticals, you name it, we've got it all. The map you see on the screen is actually how we look at the watershed, which is simply to break it into four sort of big reaches, we call them. And the idea there is to reflect the primary landscape in each of those areas and the land use in those areas as well. So it gives us a way to report back on state of the watershed and other sort of aspects of the watershed. Next slide. Also want to talk a little bit about the water. Just as the watershed itself is diverse in terms of its landscapes, it's also diverse in where the water comes from. So that the top two, and excuse the mucked up font there on runoff, but the top two pictures are where the water comes from. So all of the darker colors are where the water lands and where the water runs off. Interesting fact is that 90% of the North Saskatchewan River, the water in the river, is in the river by Drayton Valley. So 50% of the water comes from the Brazeau and the Clearwater alone through those two dams, which means that the rest of the landscape contributes, but it only contributes in very certain times, like when it's heavy rainfall or things like that. It also means that places as you move downstream and eastward get drier and drier. The landscape is dry. The river is fed from upstream. So the river can have lots of water, but the landscape can be bone dry. Kind of like we've seen in the last 3-4 years, where the Vermilion area, for instance, everything is in multi-year drought right now. All the sloughs are dry, everything's dry, but the river's got lots of water in it. Slide, please. So this is where we start to talk about the NSWA a little bit. It's a really varied landscape, really varied sort of waterscape. And so the NSWA's job really, there's lots of words on the slide, is to bring people together to talk about water and watershed management, because you can't manage in pieces. You can't manage one place without thinking about other places. We have a multi-stakeholder approach to things. In fact, even our board is multi-stakeholder. So we have all of the industries represented: ag and forestry and oil and gas. multiple municipalities, academia, provincial government, utilities. In some regards, it's a little bit ridiculous. We have a board of up to 29 people if it was full, with a staff of about 5.5. So you can tell what we spend a lot of our time on is managing some of the conversations at the board level. Next slide, please. Also important to note that the NSWA is actually recognized and has a mandate from the province as one of the watershed planning and advisory councils. This means that we are responsible for a number of things according to the province. One is doing state of the watershed reporting, so just what's the condition of the watershed. We also do planning across stakeholders, so everybody has a role in water management. So how do we bring everybody together to have that conversation? In the mandate document, they talk about convener. That's one of our roles, is to convene people just so that we can have conversations. We also do quite a bit of watershed literacy, like just bringing education to everybody from school kids to community groups to whoever's interested. We spend quite a bit of time on that as well. We've been at WPAC for 25 years, and we're one of 11 in the province that have this mandate from the province. The nice thing is, even though we have a WPAC sort of mandate, we're also a not-for-profit society, so that means we're governed by a board. So we do our WPAC mandate, but we also can pick up other things that we think are important. The nice thing is it's pretty much everything aligns with our mandate, so that makes it pretty easy. Slide, please. As I mentioned, we do request support to help us do this, largely because water management is a team sport. As I mentioned, the water that comes to the North Saskatchewan here is actually coming from Clearwater and Brazeau counties and is affected by all of the municipalities and all the land uses and all the industries and all the stakeholders between here and there. And so things that affect the water here require to talk to the people up there. And so that's kind of the job that we have, is to bring people together in that role. Ecosystem science and natural science isn't simple, so you have to have, specialized sets of expertise. And so we're able to access that through our network, through our own staff, through projects, consulting, whatever that works. And we tend to do a lot of project work. So we have an operational budget that supports staff, and then those staff are able to leverage that to get funding, project funding. I'll touch on that a bit more. And of course, water doesn't respect boundaries. It's across that whole watershed, has that huge diversity of people, but it's one water source. Even if you think about the subsurface water is actually just an extension of surface water. Has different rules that apply to it in terms of how it works, but it's the same water. They're connected. Next. So our request of municipalities is we standardize it at 60 cents per person to make it even and fair across the board. Again, the funding we receive goes towards staff salaries, essentially. And then we're able to use that staff time to get projects. And that's where the power comes in, because projects will not allow us to, we're not allowed to pay people out of projects. It's just how 90% of the work. But we have been very successful in getting project dollars, leveraging operational dollars, typically at about 3 to 1. So we have 3 times as many project dollars at any one time as we do operational dollars. That just means that a little bit goes a long ways and does a lot of good stuff. I just want to say thank you to Point, because we've enjoyed your support for the last couple of years. And then in previous years as well, it's been sort of on and off, but in the last 2 years for sure. And we've posted that recognition in our annual report and on our website. Right, so now the stuff that you're actually probably more interested in, which is a little bit of the projects. We have a lot of projects on the go, but I'll give you a snapshot of sort of a variety of them. This one, the North Saskatchewan River Water Management Roadmap, started with a question around growth and our ability to support growth across the watershed. Everybody knows that there's oil and gas development, which uses some water, but then we hear about artificial intelligence and data centers, and we hear about hydrogen hubs, and we hear about carbon hubs, and we hear about the city of Edmonton doubling in size, and every municipality would like to grow. So our question was, do we have enough water to do that? If you do a napkin kind of calculation, the way Alberta Environment has sort of been looking at this for the last little bit, we basically say there's this much water in the river, and then there's this much that we take out. We take out about 14% to 18%. And so therefore we have enough water. So our project went further than that. We actually created a computer simulation of how the entire watershed worked so that it works the way it has today. And then we actually forecast into the future and layered on all the growth. So here's some good news out of all that. I'll summarize it in sort of two things. The main stem river looks like it's in pretty decent shape into the future. We think we may run into challenges with storage as we get about 50 years out. So this is just about how we manage the two upstream reservoirs. There's some nuances in how the computer work, but basically it looks like we could run them dry in a couple of scenarios. So it's just being aware of that. That doesn't mean it's going to happen. It's just the forecast. Completely different story for the rest of the landscape, like the drier parts of the watershed, because they're just going to get drier. And so we don't exactly know what that means for what people will want to do in terms of drawing from the river. So we've completed that work. The roadmap is completed, and we just have to finish up a bit of communications work, and then we're ready to share that quite broadly. The results are actually on the website. Happy to go way deeper into it if you ever wanted to go there. Next slide, please. I mentioned the state of the watershed. So this is what the provincial government asks us to do every 8 years. Our last one was actually in 2005. So the 8-year requirement just came out a couple of years ago, so it's fairly new. So that's why we've been putting a lot of work into updating it. It will be out shortly. It assesses 3 parts of the health of the watershed. So vitality, that's like water quality, water quantity, is it good or bad? Ecosystem services, are we capitalizing on the fishing opportunities and the services provided by the river? And the last piece was the governance and engagement, like how well are we governing the river across all the stakeholders? And this method it's important to note that this is the first time that this freshwater health index approach has ever been used in North America. We adapted it for use the first time here, and it's now expanding to use in other watersheds because we're trying to be leaders in the watershed management space. The reason we really like it is because those 3 circles at the bottom that you see there with the colors, those are the results. The number in the middle tells you more or less the score out of 100. How well are we doing? But the colors will tell you those particular indicators that are doing better or worse than others. So you can quite quickly see where there's issues and where you might want to have more conversation. Gray areas also are important. That's where there isn't any data at this point. So it's quite a nice visual way of seeing. You of course can't see it in that tiny picture, but again, we'll be releasing this shortly, and there'll be tons of information on the website. Now to get to out of the technical and into the sort of engagement side of things, so I'm personally super proud of our Youth Water Council. We struck a group of youth, so this will be the 3rd year, so 3 years ago. It's a group of about 12 high school kids that we bring together. They self-select into the council, so they apply to be part of it. And we basically ask them what they want to do to make the watershed healthier. So they pick the project. We provide them with some funding. So they have funding to go with it. We introduce them to a number of watershed experts and they learn about the watershed, and then they pick a project and they execute it, and we sort of just facilitate them through it. They start in September, end in June, just before exams. They'll give you, I'll give you a sense of what they put together. So the first year, council felt that they wanted to teach the younger folks about environmental stewardship. So they wrote a comic book. They wrote the script. They had a little bit of help from a story architect to help them structure it. And they hired an artist and they produced a comic book, which I brought a couple of copies. You guys can have these ones. And then they printed 500 of them. And then we subsequently had an oil and gas partner step up and we printed 9,000 more copies. Oh, wow. So every person who floated with Riverwatch this year out of Edmonton got a copy of this. Every school group on the river, and we're talking about putting it on the bow as well. The second year they put together a watershed keepers kit for classrooms, and I brought a couple of those. And if you like, they can stay here and you can drop them off at the school and do what you like. Meant for kids to learn about watershed and water processes. There's a copy of the comic in there. There's a few other things. They were shortlisted for an Emerald Award last year. We're going to go for another try at it this year, see if we can get there. And then the other picture that's really kind of cool there is they also were interviewed on CBC Radioactive. So we had 3 council members were on primetime radio right there in the studio, which was, they were pretty puffed up over that. That was pretty cool. And then I'll close off before we have questions, just to say again, thank you for the opportunity to come speak. I hope you'll, think positively about our contribution request. Happy to provide more details on any of the projects or other projects that we're up to. And I was going to leave the last word to the Water Council with a short 2-minute video. The Jeopardy music. And that's it. So I thought I would leave it there, leave the last word with the council and see if you have any questions.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for him?
You mentioned groundwater in the computer model. How much overlap do you guys have with on river watershed stuff.
We try to have as much as possible. The challenge we had in the modeling work with groundwater and surface water is there actually isn't very much groundwater information.
Mhm.
And there's even less information on how it's connected to the surface water. The Alberta Geologic Survey is doing a lot of groundwater mapping, and we do have some in this watershed. Some that industry has done is actually quite good. But again, being able to connect the two, they're entirely different sciences. And groundwater people and surface water people do not talk very well together. They talk a different language. And so while we do have some in there, it's not anywhere near what it should be. And like I mentioned, the Geologic Survey is doing some inventory work, but it's all in the south right now.
Is there much overlap with surface water or lakes in that? Like, do you talk about Muriel Lake or some of the other lakes that are kind of lowering?
We do. We have sort of the topic of the day at the moment is there's a lot of communities that are concerned about their lake levels. And it can be anything from it's too high and we want it lowered to it's too low and we want it raised.
I forget that.
And putting in weirs and then trying to manage things or pumping from the river. So it's always a challenge because lakes and rivers have a natural life cycle as well. And feasibility on being able to do the kind of intervention you need at the scale you need for some of these lakes. So Wabamun Lake is one, Cooking Lake is another. It's interesting to have these conversations around how you manage water and still maintain all the eco sort of integrity that you need. So we try to get into those things. We tend to connect a lot with the provincial experts on that. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a question. What is the role of or I guess the position of the Watershed Alliance on recreation within the watershed? And you guys are looking to improve it sustainably or manage it in different ways?
So we actually try, this is the sort of the delicate part of what being a watershed group, a WPAC actually is. So we actually don't get involved with the sort of individual decisions. So if there was a development decision or an individual approval decision, that's not our job. But what we do is offer advice for people who are making those decisions to help them understand if we do X, then these could be the things that happen or not happen. So we're not pro anything except the health of the watershed. That's kind of our goal, is to promote that in whatever we do. But how we get there that's not our job. We're kind of trying to be this neutral. I had participated in an event not too long ago called Blue Peace, which is Switzerland talking about their role in water management, where they're just a neutral body that brings everybody together. Essentially, that's what WPACs do. The final decisions are up to the people whose job it is to make those decisions. What I will say though is that I think industry and development and recreation and all of the things that we're proposing are all things that we have to do in this watershed. I mean, we can't cut all of that out. There are ways to do it that are more protective and more conservative of the river than not, and that's where we try to have.
You'll provide like an opinion how to do it sustainably, and
Yep.
that's your role.
And then it's a case of saying, does that work with all of the other factors that feed into a decision?
Are you drawn in fairly regularly then with the Alberta government when they're doing any kind of testing, or not testing so much, but doing any kind of looking at opportunities or different things with the watersheds? Are you brought in quite often with that, or are you, how do you work alongside the government?
So we actually have government members on our board of directors. So that's the first point of connection. And then when the government has need of sort of the WPAC network, they will call us. So a good example would be the drought response not this last year, the year before. the province was calling stage 4 drought in a few places in the province, and municipalities were called on to do drought planning. And all of a sudden, everybody was like, well, what the heck do you put in a drought plan and how do we do this? So WPACs actually mobilized and presented drought information and actually coordinated a bunch of government work going out to municipalities. And we delivered a lot of that. We're actually in the process of updating that drought guide right now as well. So that's the kind of thing where we're trying to provide advice that it's not for a municipality or a company. It's like you can use these tools across any municipality.
Because that could affect any municipality at any time, especially lately.
And I think it will this year.
Great. Okay, does anybody else have any other questions? No? All right. Well, thank you again for joining us.
Well, thank you.
We do have you later on with an RFD for your request, and we will be in touch with you.
Excellent. Thanks very much. Please share these with the school or whoever you think would be appropriate.
What age groups would that be?
What age are they?
Generally sort of a junior high-ish
Okay.
or a tiny bit younger. There's a variety of tools and stuff in there. Not high school might be a bit simple for high school. And if you happen to need more, we have a few more left before we run out. Last thing I'll add is that this year's Youth Water Council will be picking their project in about 2 weeks or so. So we're right on the cusp of whatever this year's project. Can't tell you what it is because I have no idea what.
And are the students from all over where the
They're in the back, on the back page. You'll see.
what list?
Yeah,
I didn't notice that.
It's different each time. This year we have somebody from Vermilion who drives in. Last time around, we had somebody from Rocky Mountain House. Just because Edmonton is such a large population center, we tend to get a few more students from the Edmonton area, but Edmonton and surrounding, and then it's a bit tougher to reach the full extent of the watershed, but we're trying to do that.
Are you limited to the amount of people that go into it?
We try to keep it between 10 and 15, so 12 is sort of right on the money, because just the dynamics of trying to orchestrate a group project with that many people.
Yeah.
Even with 12, they break into subgroups, and the weekend camp when they meet is actually fairly impressive because the first year they were sitting around a council table like this and they were talking about their project and they were debating like which this one or that one and working on things. And then it's like, okay, we're going to take a break. And they basically took their project stuff aside and pulled out their homework. All of them.
Meters.
Yeah, these guys are not slouches. I kind of feel a little inadequate. So thank you very much for
Thank
your
you.
time, and I hope it was helpful and useful. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, thanks. Nice to meet you. Appreciate it. Thanks. See you.
Okay. All right, can we get a motion to accept the delegation's presentation? Huh? In favor?
Aye.
Carried. All right, agenda. Any additions to the agenda? Does anybody have anything to add?
I'd like to add, Frog Lake First Nations Council meeting, February 9th on new business, I guess.
Any other additions? No? Okay, can I get a motion to approve the agenda as amended? All in favor? Okay, minutes of the January 12th council meeting. Any errors or omissions?
And I'm not, so not, no.
I'm supposed to admit that.
Okay. Seeing none, can we get a motion to approve the ice?
I can make the motion, yes.
Thank you. And all in favor? Unfinished business, resolution 26-707, garbage collection.
So this came up in garbage collection on January the 12th, January 9th. We were looking to have something by this meeting. Unfortunately, we're still getting some more information. Once we get more information, we'll bring it back to a future council meeting. So that's one. I think we have a meeting on February the 4th. And we should have more information. We'll come back with council at that point.
Okay. So can we get a motion to defer this? Or if you
I'm gonna make that motion.
Tim? All in favor? It's carried. Okay, resolution 25-677, North Saskatchewan Watershed Alliance. All right. We have RFD. What are everyone's thoughts?
I like it.
Okay. We have contributed the past 2 years for sure.
I know when the town's main water source comes from North Saskatchewan River, and our excess wastewater after it's treated goes back into the same river. So being a part of that alliance kind of helps make sure that we give our public works all the tools they can to make sure they're doing it safe and proper. So it's definitely a good option there. And I know we've also looked in increasing the use of recreation on that river, and I think they would be good partners in trying to make sure that we're doing it right. So I don't see any issues really continuing our membership.
Yeah, I think that it's one of the more important things we can look at when it comes to, environmental concerns. If they were asking for a huge amount, I would want to see more. But with the amount they're asking, I think it's quite reasonable, and I think it's a very valuable organization.
Right, well, we have 3 alternatives here, so it's looking like we're gonna go with alternative 3, that council approved the contribution. Can I get somebody to make that motion? Sean? In favor? This carried. Okay. Skip all this. Bylaws. Bylaw 922-26, borrowing bylaw for the MD Foundation.
So I do have the foreign bylaw here. I think council are well aware of, Sunnyside Manor expansion and our contribution into the project with the MD Foundation. I do have Mir here, if you have any questions regarding the borrowing bylaw. You'll see a small correction on the number on there. I did give a handout. It's 266 142 on what the borrowing is. So we had $2 difference on there. So we did make that correction on the bylaw, and I'll go out with that correction. I don't know, Mir, if anything else to add.
No, this project actually council has approves in 2024, and it is a regional project. And we are contributing according to our equalization value of our tax asset.
So council go to the borrowing law. This will be the first reading, and then we'll go out to advertisement for 2 consecutive weeks, and then come back to council for a second and third final reading.
And this is no change from the original. This is all as planned, right?
I will make the motion for first reading.
Reading, okay, perfect. All in favor? That's carried. All right. Regional trade show participation, new business.
The regional trade show, this is a request from our DMO. So there's 3, they're looking for a request to approve 1 counselor or 2 counselors representative to attend the 2026 Edmonton Boat and Sportsman Show, and then the Sherwood Park Trade Fair and Fort McMurray Trade Show. Or the option is that we can approve a travel for Lakeland DMO representative to attend these conferences, but then that comes with academic, how that costs. Either way, if you have someone else to go there, or we have costs with our accounts to go there. I don't know quite what you have done in the past. But you see all the information here, and with the three, Edmonton, Sherwood Park, and Fort McMurray trade show. Anything else? Any information on it, or? I think these are the ones you've gone in the past as
I
well.
think Dwayne has attended.
Dwayne went.
In the past.
Yes.
I've gone to the one, the Edmonton Boat and Sportsman Show. We had a booth there and I represented Municor on that
Oh,
booth
good.
2 years ago, last year.
And I don't know if we participated in the Sherwood Park or Fort McMurray. have we?
I don't think that one, no.
What's your opinion on that, Dwayne? Did you get a lot of conversations out of there?
Oh, yeah, for sure. A lot of people came through there and they all, stopped and entered draws and that and discussion and all that. And the big talk is everybody knows that where Elk Point is and somebody from here has relatives here, this and that. So it's definitely a good show. It's a lot of hours though.
That's what my big question was, is how much it, how.
Well, I kind of, if I remember correctly, it started Friday afternoon, all day Saturday and Sunday till about 4.
That's what's, yeah, looking which one, Thursday to Sunday.
And the boat show is March 19th to 22nd. The Sherwood one is April 10th to the 12th. And then Fort McMurray, April 24th to the 26th.
What are people's thoughts on participating in all of them? Because I'm assuming this is going to be, sorry to interrupt, Sean, this would be something that probably hasn't been budgeted for in our current.
The registration is budgeted for, and that's part of there, but then we would have to pay for the travel. And so either one of us go, if a council member goes, we pay for the travel and the accommodations, or if we have someone come from the DMO, then we have to pay for that representative to be there as well.
Okay.
So really the decision is if you want to go or if you want to pay for it.
I know not too many people go. The one we were at, there was one person from St. Paul only in our group. Well, Dale was from the county, was there, me and Marianne. And that was it. And I think Marianne went herself to Fort McMurray that year. And every other year, this has been going on for a while. I don't think we've ever sent anybody to go. So how does this come to us as a
request.
request from?
From the DMO, and then you'll see the request.
Oh, I did.
Yeah. Yeah, and then it's going to the county as well. And and then the regional trade show participation, there was a request, and you can see the memo is going to the county of St. Paul as well, so.
I think last time I remember there was like 2 counselors from St. Paul and a couple of people from the county or something like that had all gone, so. I don't know. It's really hard to say. It's just like any other trade show. You can go, do you ever really see the impact? You talk to people, you do things. If you're not there, you don't get noticed. If you go, you're noticed. Does it bring anything? Not sure. But part of our DMO and everything else like that, I believe, is still to promote tourism and doing stuff like that. And Boat and Sportsman Show is part of the watershed, the North Saskatchewan. It's an area that we wanted to try to promote in the past, and that's why we were doing it. So I'm not opposed to supporting somebody that if they have the time to go. I think it's more so on the timing. If you're available, that's great. If not, then we support whoever.
So, yeah, because it is not immediate, do we have to say tonight that it's
No.
going to be one council or?
You can make a motion, or you can say that you do have a Senate representative. Or we can say have, if you guys schedules work, if you approve a council to go.
Okay.
And if you don't approve a council to go, and then of course, then the option would be that there would be a Lakeland DMO representative there.
Okay.
And the expectation is for a person to be for all the days there, or can
I
they
don't
just do
believe so.
partial
Dwayne,
days?
I think you guys split it up the last time you went. It was some
No.
counselors went one day and some went the next or something.
No, me and Marianne and Dale were there all.
The whole stretch.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think someone from St. Paul came up for a couple hours and that, whether he was probably just visiting the booth.
And you could break it up, one to Edmonton, one to Sherwood, and one to Fort McMurray if you wish. But that's still up to council.
Well, that's the thing is like, I'd be quite happy to go to Sherwood Park for a day, take the kids to the pool, but 3 days means I can't even bring the kids, you know,
Yeah.
it's a work trip.
Yeah, they're time
It's a work
consuming
trip,
for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well,
I'll make the motion that we approve a counselor to attend if there's one available. If not, we support the DMO.
And then do you want to put in there to approve 3 prize packages for the 3 trade shows as well in that motion?
Sure.
And if you don't, then we'll do the DMO too.
yeah. Oh, but I did have a note here. Where did I see the mileage?
72 cents per kilometer.
Yes. So I think that has changed to 74 cents now, hasn't it?
Well, that changes everything.
You'll definitely.
Thought that's what I-
Current rate is, yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
just for the new year.
That was just a budget for you,
Yeah,
with the 40.
no, that's fine, that's fine. Okay, so Tim made a motion to approve either a counselor or a DMO representative to attend, along with 3 prize packages. Any more comments or questions regarding that?
The committing to all 3 events, or we're sending a representative, or just picking one and saying we'll contribute to this one?
I think the motion is if someone wants to go, then council will go. If there is not a councilor going in, then we'll go to the DMO
Yeah.
and all 3.
But that is.
But to all
Yeah,
3,
3, yeah.
yeah.
So we're committed to sending somebody, just who's the person.
Are we able to just do something?
I guess that would be a conversation that we could have.
Because I feel like Edmonton's worthwhile. I feel like Fort Mac's worthwhile, but I feel like Sherwood Park and Edmonton kind of overlap a little bit.
Yeah, you would think that, 20% probably overlap over both.
But with this is that this DMO is set up, they already got in the budget and they pay for it, so they already have that paid for. It's just a matter of who's gonna go and be there.
They're going, it's just they need help.
Manning it.
Willing to participate in all 3 of them.
Okay, any more comments? No? Okay, all in favor? It's carried.
That was Tim.
That was Tim, yep. Okay, 86 a charity hockey game.
Yes, this came as a request for the 86 charity hockey game, invitation to a ceremonial puck drop. So the invitation has come to the mayor, and if the mayor doesn't want to go, if there's an alternative that wants to go and do the puck drop for this fundraising event towards cancer. So
Okay, I do know right now that I am out of province that.
You can run back.
Yeah.
Dwayne, when are you on out of province?
Not till the 7th, till the 17th of February.
Okay,
So I missed the next Unicor meeting that came on today.
I did see that, so I might, I'd pencil that in. When the deputy minister, mayor wants to hit that one up, Dwayne.
Okay, when is it again? January?
February 20th.
yes, then it's at
So that's a Friday.
Kohler Energy Center.
If Dwayne, would you be available?
I'm just looking for the time here.
The game,
7 o'clock.
7:00.
Yeah.
Well. I think I'd be okay, yeah.
Think you'd be okay?
Yeah.
If something comes up and he's not, would one of the other counselors be able to fill in if
Should
need?
be, yeah. Nothing's really on that day, but
I was reading a few things. How many is there? Like, are they inviting all the mayors?
I didn't see that in here. It looks like the invitation was extended to just a ceremonial drop. I might anticipate it doesn't say that, but they're extending it to Elk Point, so.
Okay.
They rotate or
I
not.
didn't see the invitation.
It's Yukon Heritage Day that day, so.
That's what I saw too.
You have the email attached.
Currently, right now, I don't have anything.
Okay.
So, I mean, I can always try to schedule that in. if need be.
Yeah, if Dwayne's not, you'll reach out then if something comes up.
Yeah, we're back on the 17th, but you never know with these flights nowadays. Toronto's been shut down yesterday and.
Yeah.
I got to finish still.
Okay.
You need a motion for that?
We do need a motion, yes. Sean? To attend. All in favor? That is carried. Okay. And Export Community Investment Program grant.
So Step Economic Development Alliance wishes to make an application for the Can Export Community Investment Grant Program on behalf of the town of Bell Point, not on behalf of the county, so just in there. So this is looking for foreign investment and doing that application and process. So they're doing it on our behalf. There's no cost on this for us. They're looking for grant money from other.
Like a support letter or whatever.
Okay. All right. Can I get a motion to, does anybody have any feedback on that?
I'll make the motion. I think it's a great idea. We're always looking for new opportunities. So
Okay,
gives us an opportunity.
to support.
Just back to the last one, Cole, can you send me the request
Yeah, we'll make sure you get all that. Yeah, we'll send everything to you.
so that,
Yeah, and we'll let them know, and then we'll give them your contact information and everything. as well.
sorry.
No, that's okay. All right, so all in favor?
Sorry, I forgot,
Oh, sorry, this is for the STEP, economic
The
economic
Can
development.
Export
Can
Community.
export
okay, sorry.
that.
And that was Tim. Yeah.
Yeah, so all in favor, just to make sure? Yeah, good. It's carried. Okay, Frog Lake First Nation first annual fishing derby donation request.
So they're doing a fishing derby, and you see the request is for sponsorship or a donation towards there. We don't have a specific amount, but they're also, if there's no donation, there's a possibility of helping out and assisting with additional ice augers, staffing, and different kind of work on the lake. Frog Lake has been our partner a number of times, and it's close here. I'm glad to see this is going on. It's actually in Connect well because we have Heritage Day on the following day, so that'd be nice. If we have the fishing derby, then plus have the Heritage Day, which is in town here, so work out well.
Okay. Any thoughts on that?
It makes me think of the last time we were asked for sponsorship and you know, it was brought up that you do one, then other people who don't get it feel left out. Is it something that we could have kind of a standard? This is how much we give, and
Yeah, that's actually a good point. I should policy on what we have available. And I'll definitely will do that. I'll bring back here and then maybe next meeting is that this is what we have for contributions because we're starting a new year and this is how we do this foundation and have certain criteria. And I know other communities do have that.
I feel like, you know, if we give $1,000 to this and suddenly we don't have the money to give anything here.
Mhm.
And if somebody's like, oh, you only gave this much, we just say, this is how much we give to everyone. And then there's no real conflict there.
And when the budget line's gone, the budget line's gone.
Exactly. And I would say with that budget, exactly. We do have budget line for these sponsorships. It's up to council on the amounts. I think in the past, most times been between $100 and $200 somewhere in there. So.
What day is that?
It's the February 15th.
Yeah, but what day?
Is that the Sunday?
I believe it's the Sunday.
Yeah. The 15th.
15th Sunday, and then we have on the 16th is the Heritage.
Heritage Day, yeah.
Maybe me and.
Family Day,
go
yeah.
there and
Yeah, we're doing Heritage.
raise some fish for them.
You're not gonna be here. You said not till
You're
17.
not back till the 17th.
Oh,
Thanks for offering. Barry.
I was offering in theory, yeah.
We'll just keep it in this freezer until you show up.
Well, and that's also an option too.
Yeah.
You know, if we don't monetary donation, they are looking for people to help out. So what are everybody's thoughts?
Sorry, I don't have the donation letter on here. Is it the band that's actually making the request?
They say they're seeking donation of funds or a door prize, like
Yeah.
put together a swag
Swag
bag.
bag. Yeah, you could definitely do that.
Well, I'm all in favor of providing.
With a hoodie because it's winter.
Go ahead, Jason, sorry.
I'm all in favor of providing some kind of, because again, that's a good thing, but what, being a swag bag or monetary donation, I guess it's depending on what we want to do.
I would think a swag bag. I don't know what those actually cost us, but
It's something that I think even going forward with, we've never really planned a proper swag bag per se, like we've got town stuff, but I think going in with that idea of saying it's stuff that we could hand out at different events.
Right.
And would fit that whole thing.
well, and I would even say different levels. Like if you are having a bigger event that you're donating value, you would throw in something like a hoodie. Whereas if you're giving it away at some little event, well, you don't want to be giving away hundreds and hundreds of dollars of stuff.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Each event kind of has to be looked at individually.
Individually, yeah.
But in the-
They're different, they're not the same.
In the past, we've always relied on town staff to be able to make that judgment for us. We just.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do we know if they kind of have a standard? Or they just whatever they feel?
No, to me, this is feeling like that is that $100 mark or whatever. And I definitely could do that. We can do, and I've had other communities where we had levels and they were based on their local event or their provincial event, national, and then also non-numbers of participants within that event, and then you'd be in that range.
Yeah, just like 2 or even 3
Yeah.
sort of tiers.
Exactly. And then you have so much budget when the budget's gone, is gone, so. And there's any ones that happen every year, like Christmas extravaganza, and there's the Halloween one, and there's ones we have, and then we make sure that, we do have money available when those come up as well.
Because I know in the past we've had like wine glasses and stuff like that. So I mean, that fits into.
Yeah, I'll work with staff, we'll put something
You don't
together.
give that away at the children.
Kids.
Someone.
and go months.
So I can make a motion to provide a bag as or prize and the town administration set something appropriate.
And just to add on, Daryl, it'd be nice to see like the last 2 in here, to see the requests, whether it's an email request. or
Okay, yeah.
Letter, attach it to the thing and then it makes it easier.
That's his own questions.
Like I do have this one, so was this attached?
They're not.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry about that. Well, you mentioned something this morning. so
Yeah.
about that. Yeah, okay, so. that would
If that's
definitely-
attached, that'd be 100%.
Yes.
See that the agenda's limited pages.
Yeah.
I know, it's those trade-off for sure.
Then once you get the policy, then we can say this fits in this category. Then it
Right.
makes it super comfortable as well, and give recommendations.
Okay, so we are going to, would anybody be available if we wanted to also, would anybody be interested in attending?
I was thinking of possibly making an appearance out there just to come out and support or whatever. It just depends on the day and what's all going on, but.
Okay. I could probably go with you because I know Murray has to work that weekend.
Yeah, if I was around, I would like to go.
Okay, so we'll do a swag bag for sure, and Jason made that motion. All in favor? Carried. Great, the human infrastructure.
Yes, so this is coming up a session on February 19th, located in Leduc, and the human infrastructure in designing to support elected officials and senior staff by improving communication skills, supporting personal well-being, and encouraging collaboration between municipalities. Exactly where we're at and what we're doing. So I think this would be brought this forward if council wishes to attend this one. I think I'll definitely be attending myself as well. So this is it's a 1 day from 8 a.m. till 4:30 p.m. and they'll be from Duke. So. I did get handouts, additional information about it. You'll see it there.
Okay, I know I received it in an email. Did you guys receive it as earlier? No? Okay, okay. I think I would also like to attend. I think it would be some good information. Because yes, our human infrastructure is very important here, any community. But
I'll make the motion that one counselor attend. And if that's yourself, however you want to word that, but
hey. Okay, we do have alternatives and one of them states approve any member. Is anybody else interested in attending
I don't think.
I don't think so.
It would be interesting, but I don't know if I'd have the time.
the time?
I'm sure one person would be enough to
Plenty?
provide the feedback back.
And you have to memorize it, and of course.
She's gonna
Educate everybody.
hammer in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, if you're going as well, then
Yeah.
that'll be two people.
Years.
Yeah.
I do have a good panel.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So Tim made that motion to have one council member attend. All in favor? Is carried. Great. Norfolk Lake Council meeting, February 9th. New edition.
So I think there was I approached, or I did reach out based on the fact of me being, and Dwayne part of the one project out there. So I did ask, just more so of feedback on what's been occurring or whatever with the new opportunities. And got a email back from William in regards to council extending out a hand and saying, would you like to sit down and have a joint council meeting on a date to go over all the stuff that we have been doing, all the stuff that's coming up, and then where in the process it is. So I think everybody was asked about it and stuff, and it sounds like the 9th. So just looking for approval for council to attend.
Okay.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we do attend.
That's for the entire council.
Yeah.
Bless me.
Yeah. I think the other day that they were proposing was the day that you were still gone. I think.
Yeah.
And when we're there, I'd also like to discuss with them. Daryl and I just went to the NAGO meeting. And I'd like to reach out to them to see if they would like to also be part of that as well. Okay, so Dwayne made a motion.
Monday.
9th of February, yeah.
And that's from 2:30 to 3:30, I think is what the timing was. With possible, depending on discussion and need, they said they may have room for us to extend that timeline.
Okay.
I already had that in my schedule.
Rush back here, have a council meeting.
All right, all in favor? That is carried. All right. Chief Administrative Officer report.
Yeah, the first one is myself and Tim attended the St. Paul Regional Delivery of Waste Management Study that was put on. So we went to, we were in, or Smoky Lake.
Smoky Lake.
Yeah, we're in Smoky Lake.
Fort Saskatchewan.
That was a windy day, so we took Tim's heavy diesel, so that really worked. So we got blown off the road. So no, it was good. It's actually good information. It was a good workshop. They're getting down to the final ends of this, and then they're having another workshop once you get the final report done. I'm looking to add anything else, Tim.
Not really. Like I say, it was interesting. It it's getting everybody together and seeing where we're going to focus going forward. It was nice. It's nice to see a little structure and where we're going and what we're doing. Not that it wasn't there before, but especially with a new group, it gave everybody an opportunity to really get focused. That was good.
A regional recreation facility assessment. Now they get to the end of completing it. Akron Engineering did a presentation to the town of St. Paul and to the county of St. Paul regarding the aquatic center and the art center. Then we're just waiting for a date for the Elk Point Furling Rink, and then we'll definitely with the Lions and the group out there give a presentation where that facility is at. And so that should be coming up here fairly quickly. And once we do, I just said I want to attend that meeting when that happens and presenting regarding that information. Town of Elk Point website. The staff have found after our visit with AV Munis, there was a company there that does a lot of municipal websites. And that's one of the questions we had in the past, how our website is functioning, how it's working. It's not terrible, but we've seen better ones. And so we're looking at this company, and actually it's more economical and more cost effective and also more user friendly. I know Kendra attended in Morgan. Morgan was really excited about the new websites, and it's this designer is particularly with municipalities. So and I believe Edmonton as well.
Lamont, St. Paul, town of St. Paul has them.
Yes.
Canmore and Leduc, I believe, are the ones that I've seen so far.
So you're gonna see a switch on that website, and we're gonna move over to the new company, and I think that'll work out a lot better on our website, so. Elk Point, we had the Elk Point Regional Water Commission meeting on January the 20th, went to overall operating budget and also include the new rates. So that's, and then we also came up in there, that'll be a decision that we are going to be doing here with the town of Elk Point, is that one thing that came up is our bulk water rates. Our bulk water rates are consistently lower than every other municipality, so we're going to review that. But our bulk water is not only commercial, but it's also residential. So we're going to see in the system if we can separate that out with the commercial, because our commercial one is considerably lower than our neighbors. So we're going to look at that bulk water rate and see if that, the commercial, and see if we can make that change. We'll review that. We had the regional intermunicipal meeting that a couple of councilors attended after that training for emergency training. There was a presentation on the rural transit network. And that's, and also looking at, and that's also came up with regarding getting people to appointments and seniors and the transition paratransit bus and for seniors and disabilities, but also looking at how we can take that farther. So it was a good presentation. They gave us that information. That's something we're looking at. And myself and the mayor attended the NAGO meeting. We sat beside Vermilion, and they have a really good system there. There might be opportunities in partnering there and providing those kind of services. That's becoming a bigger and bigger need for our community, is providing transportation for people to get to appointments and different kind of services as well. And then Elk Point Medical Clinic, good news. We do have 4-year agreements with all 3 doctors, and the facility is finished. And and they're looking at moving in February the 26th and 27th, and be open by March 2nd. So they'll be in there, and the clinic will be operating. So that's good. I know it's a long time coming. And they're just working out the equipment right now and getting the equipment moved over, and they're getting that figured out. So once we have that there, I think we should probably, I don't think a lot of council members have come in that facility since it's been renovated. So once you have an opportunity, we can go for a tour over there and take a look anytime you want, and then walk through the facility. So I think you see what's there. In the daytime, probably the best with all the windows, and you can see everything. So if you want to come on over here, come and take a look, and we'll take you to the facility. So for fun.
Do we want to have a date where all of us, so it happens once, or?
Oh, I can do it many times if we're here. I got no problem. Just shoot me an email, and I can take you over there and take you through there.
An idea is February 9th for, we got a gap between the
There you go.
project meeting coming back here. I know Dwayne's gone, but he might he can probably pop in another day.
That'd be a good opportunity. Yeah, definitely. After the frog.
Well, we have a gap to fill.
Yep, sounds good. We'll do that too. Other one is, it's not on here, but the regional housing strategy is at the point now, they want to have a joint council meeting with all the councils on that housing strategy that they've been working on. That started even before I was here. So looking at February 25th, 26th, and 27th at 2 p.m. I'll bring all the councils together with the presentation. What I'll do is I'm not going to nail you down right now. That's a Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and then send out what date works the best for all council.
And that was for what, sorry?
And that's for the regional housing strategy, St. Paul Regional.
Because they had the update, but they're gonna have probably close to the final report for that one.
Yes.
In Madness.
And have a workshop and bring all the councils together regarding that.
That's,
And that would just be the one day?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they'll have the consultants present that to all the councils. I have a workshop regarding that.
One day is in one day,
All day?
all day, or is that?
Well, I'll get some hours, I'll get some times. They're trying to find a date right now.
Yeah,
Find a
I
date.
just so I know, because I got to plan ahead if I'm taking.
Yes.
Multiple times.
That's why I'm bringing it up here for now. And then we can have that conversation on.
Thank you.
And then I'll send it out just so so they'll be on Wednesday, the 25th, or Thursday, 26th, or Friday, the 27th. At 2 o'clock, anticipate probably be a couple hours. Anticipate much more than that. And present that report and to all the councils, joint councils all together. More than likely probably be in St. Paul, I think, or Central. And that's what I got.
Okay. All right.
I just had a question about the regional recreation facility assessment. Was anybody here a part of that?
They did, but the assessment was based that they looked at three facilities. So it was the St. Paul Aquatic Center, and then looked at the art center there as well, and then they looked at the curling rink here. So basically brought an engineer in, took a look at the facilities, what shape they're in, where they're at, and looked at what those.
Well, I thought it was
Which one?
the arena.
No, that this study wasn't. That was done before.
That was still the old
Yeah.
study.
The old study. So basically looking at where the facilities are at, looking at what the costs can keep them going for the next 5 to 10 years. And then looking at some options going forward. We have an APC grant that's coming in for this year and looking at the whole picture. Because I think we got a pretty good idea that a lot of where our facilities are at. A lot of our facilities are built in the 60s. So a lot of facilities are at life expectancy or past life expectancy, and we're working regionally. So we're going to look at the region. This year is a rec agreement between all of us and partnering within the region. But I think we're going to have to start looking at an overall plan for the whole area. And that's going to be coming up here in the new year because it's not getting any cheaper building these facilities. And we're at the point now where we need to get a plan to start replacing the facilities because you can't just say 1 year you're going to replace them. That's at least a 4 or 5 year lead time if you're looking at, because you have to making sure that you have that, what you're doing and how you're using those facilities, where they're going to be placed, what the cost is going to be, and look for grant money. The ones I've been involved with, you got at least 4 years before you start.
Do we have the specifics of that report or they're?
No, I don't have it yet. They're gonna come and bring us, and because Curling Race Lion is doing a lot of that, so they'll do a presentation to Lion together.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a study that's been 3 years in the going.
Mhm.
So it's yeah, there was some issues with the consultants finally getting the person down. So it's good that we're actually getting a status on where they're at. It'd be nice to be a little quicker, but it's going, so.
And this is about where the facilities are
Yeah.
at. I think you're gonna see some bigger conversations in next year on how do we move forward with the region and how we start replacing facilities. That's gonna start coming up. And when it comes to that, it's not so much about the facilities itself, it's how you use those facilities, what they're used for. As things have changed, aquatic centers are a great example, is that aquatics used to be rectangle, 25 lanes, 4 or 6 lanes, and that's what they were. But now if you look at aquatic facilities, there are a lot of lazy rivers, there's zero entry. There is where you have very leisure pools versus competitive pools. Things change over time because these facilities, once you have them, they're a 40-year to 50-year commitment on the facilities. So if you do them, you want to look at what you're doing now and what you're looking towards the future and how they're going to serve the needs of the population. They're important, but the most important thing is designing them so they be used. In other words, your best facilities are designed with how they're going to be used, not just make a facility and figure out how you're going to use it. And that's where we run into a lot of the problems. So
I can make a motion to accept.
Okay. Is there any other questions? Nope.
good question on facilities though. Thank you.
All in favor? Great. FCSS report.
So I was not at the meeting. I had to take my baby to Stollery, but just looking at it and from what I've heard, there's some good programming. Not getting a whole lot of attendance. I was even talking to my wife about some of the events because we're right there. Some of them we were at the hospital, we couldn't go. I have had some comments that people would like to see more programming directed at seniors, but yeah. The kids really wanted to go to this teddy bear story time after the fact.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the biggest thing with any of the programming that we've done over the past. It's, they have it, but it's getting people to attend, and it's.
I think promotion might be oftentimes, Nikki tries to stay on top of things, and quite often she doesn't even know what's coming up and stuff. So.
There is a disconnect about, the information's out there, but it's willingness for people to look for it and find it. And that's, we struggled out with everything, not just FCSS. It's the, what is the platform that everybody can go on and get the information they need and not feel overwhelmed where they stop using it. So it's definitely a tricky thing.
Only were 2010 and everyone had Facebook.
And that's something actually Morgan's working on right now, is promoting getting things out and information out. She attended.
Yes.
That night, and we are definitely putting something together on a guide and getting information out. As much as people think it's all social media, not anymore. It's people are bombarded by social media. People want something in their hands, and that's what we're working on right now. So Morgan's working really hard on that for the last 6 months. We're ready to get that going, and we're going to be definitely should close to the chamber as well with them. I think that's the biggest thing, getting the word out, people knowing, and different avenues of media to get it out, not just depending on Facebook or social media.
Or even emails,
Yeah.
All right, can I get a motion to approve the FCSS report?
Make the motion.
Tim? All in favor? Carried. All right. Finances. Committee minutes and reports. Oh, wait, Chamber of Commerce.
Guess that would be me. Look here. Oh, I had things to say. Completely blank now. Want to step in?
I would if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Absolutely. Some of the things that we discussed at the chamber meeting, kind of also wrap my head around some of the things that I could just bring up my agenda. That'll help me.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
There is a job fair in St. Paul that we were encouraging some of our businesses to get involved in. We're actually talking about hosting a job fair, so kind of taking turns between St. Paul and Elk Point. So St. Paul hosts like a spring in February area, and then Elk Point would potentially host a job fair in September. So that was one of the items that we had talked about. This one. The chamber is looking at bringing in a representative from the Alberta Chamber of Commerce to start working on some of the, like some governance training. So the first one was going to be that we were looking at would be in regards to like, what does the Alberta Chamber of Commerce do and how does it support the basically training support. So ACC overview at a chamber annual general meeting. So then there's other sessions that we potentially like strategic planning, board operations sessions, and just different things that we would be looking to just learn from the ACC and how we can develop into a better support system for our businesses. We did a review on extravaganza, how everything went. So there is a little bit of they're kind of wanting to see what that's going to look like in the new year and whether that's going to be a revamp or what that potentially looks like coming into the next. Talking about with Go East, it sounds like that will potentially be taken over by the DMO or STEP. I can't remember which one, I apologize. And so just what that involvement would look like, they would still said that we could then choose the location as to the road show, like road trip. So there's the local stop in town where they collect stickers and stuff like that so that we can continue with tourism in the community. And
Relates to membership, we were talking about how we have membership tiers.
yes,
Offer different perks based on, because basic membership isn't quite bringing in as much as one might hope. But we're trying to look at offering extra things for kind of higher tier memberships.
so we also expanded into affiliated memberships with the surrounding communities. So you can get an affiliate membership with St. Paul or Bonneville or Cold Lake at a discount of their cost. So like it would be 50% off of what their cost is rather than a full membership, which then would just give you access to more support system and information coming from those communities as well, support to the businesses. So those were the main items that we talked about.
Go East thing, I don't know too much about it. I'm kind of just coming into it, but I'd like to learn more about what we're actually benefiting based on what it costs and things like that. But it was an interesting presentation that was given by that representative.
That's everything? Okay, so going forward, now we're gonna see this list on our agenda. So now, instead of us waiting for the minutes to come from months ago meetings, these are all meetings that one of us have attended. Gonna do an update as we attend these meetings, so Northeast Unicorn.
Our last meeting was January 14th. Dwayne wasn't available, so I stepped in on that one. That was also our orientation for all the new council representatives on the board. So it was a good chunk of time just doing up the history of Mooneycore and all the events that led up to where we're at now. So that was a big part of that meeting. The other kind of keynotes that have happened, usually during those meetings, they talk about all the right-of-way allowances that each and many companies put in crossing the trails. So that's a big chunk. That happened, a big chunk of that meeting. The Riverland Recreation Society, they're full swing on grooming the trail for sleds. They've been putting a lot of volunteer hours now that we actually have some snow. That's decent sled work. They also do like to spread the message that during the winter months, quads are not allowed on that trail. It's strictly for sleds because with the groomer that they have, it's designed to make a nice stretch for sled users. And when quads get on there, they wreck all that. So it's a very, and then we got volunteer hours on those groomers, and it's very disheartening when they do spend their free time on that groomer just to come around and see people wrecking it. So, and also they've been having some issues with all the snow or different municipalities when they're coming up across the trail. They're not winging up their graders, and they're creating some berms for the groomers, and they don't know it until they hit it. And so they've been kind of lodged a couple times. So they've been going to the municipalities just treat it as an approach. So yeah, they're working on getting a different works because they did get the grant to be able to look at some of the sites that each municipal has, their staging areas, just upgrading the signage and stuff like that. So they're working on that. Their tree project, they're trying to get some new native trees throughout. So yeah, they're trying to keep the trail open and working for everybody involved.
Thank you. Evergreen.
That would have been the December meeting, I believe, the 19th. The last thing I had was that workshop. As far as everything goes, everything was still looking really good. We did the Sinovera workshop, which was planned for Smoky Lake. So that was brought up and seeing who would be there. On the treasurer's report, we had some monies that we were having to do something with. It was, I believe it was 149,000 that we moved to an equipment reserve, which we had a little extra of, so which with the cost of the equipment going up, it was felt that it was needed to put it someplace that would suffice and do us good later on. So it was moved to equipment reserve. Cost of the new cell, everything as far as the monies go, everywhere still in really good shape. We're doing really well. So I think it's 2 years, if I'm not mistaken, something like that anyway, that we'd be looking at a new cell construction and stuff for Evergreen. So money is in place, so we're doing. Let me see. Regional site report monitoring is good, 15% savings, up to anyway with insurance, going with a different insurance. Gasoline vault for the fuel, double wall so that we're making sure everything's safe. We're looking at concrete cracker, costs to rent, to own. We do have lots in Elk Point and St. Paul, Smoky Lake. It can be used with fill and different things. So we're just looking at what's the best way to handle these wastes and make things more efficient for everybody. We had talked about that time. It was Christmas hours. That's gone by the wayside. Looks like everything went through okay, other than the snow. Fire extinguishers, as long as they're depressurized now, there's no need to empty the contents before metal crushing. Before there used to be, you had to depressurize it, but it sounds like that's not needed anymore as long as it's, or as long as you depressurize, you don't need to empty the container. So there's stuff inside your propellant or whatever can stay in there. They can crush it with it. It's not a big deal. Other than that, I think that was pretty well it. Yeah, that was it. There's Alberta Cares and stuff like that. There's, I believe we have the members attending that. They always come back with new ideas and things, so.
Okay. Perfect. All right, Allied Arts, that's me. The farmers market wrapped up before Christmas. So now they're closed until probably May, although they're thinking about maybe doing a pop-up market around Easter and then reopening again regularly every Thursday for possibly around Mother's Day. They're not 100% certain on the date. And they are also looking at changing their hours. Right now it's from noon until 5 and it gets pretty quiet. So they might be shortening those hours up, but we will learn more when it becomes confirmed. Booking inquiries are coming in for weddings. We have several bookings already for private and public events. The Fireman's Ball is on February 7th. The Youth Dinner Theater, which is Willy Wonka Jr., will be May 2nd and 3rd and the 9th and 10th. Our Spring Dinner Theater, is, we have to change the dates for a variety of reasons. So it will be moved now, and I don't know if it's just for this year or if it will be going forward. May 29th, 30th, and 31st, and then June 5th and 6th. And they haven't told us what the title is. And so right now they're currently looking for a caterer. June 12th, we have Scott Woods and booked. So the tickets will be on sale here soon.
Scott Woods, is that a country band? Is that a band? What is it all?
It is a band. I believe he's a fiddle player, but plays a plethora of instruments. So, yeah, everybody that has seen him has enjoyed him. He's got a following. We had some people in the community reach out saying, hey, we need to bring him in. So this will be an event that we don't, normally we have tables set up. This will be concert seating, so it will be all rows. So yeah, there might be some light snacks, but the bar will not be open. So it's just, yeah.
Just music enjoyment.
You betcha. The Christmas dinner theater was successful. We did show a little bit of a profit. Most people were happy with the caterer. And the caterer was happy with the outcome. And she's also willing to do it again. We've talked to her regarding the spring dinner theater, but because of the change of dates, it may not work in her calendar. So that's why we're kind of putting feelers out to see what we can come up with. And so on the inside of the hall, we were able to get the interior metal walls redone. So that has been done. They come in and they were finishing up some paintings, but now should all be the same color. And then unfortunately at New Year's, we did have some damage done to the freshly waxed floors and, but it happens. So nothing major. Other than that, I think yes, I think that's about it. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Community futures.
Okay, well, this is the first time I'm reporting on it, and I've attended actually just 3 meetings already. Well, first one was orientation and couple since, one last week. A couple of the projects they're working on for the year. They're going to be doing the Lemonade Day again. It's scheduled for June 13th, 26th. They're also doing again the Alberta Open Farm Days, August 15th and 16th. Power Up North is a northern conference, regional event that brings all of the people together in that group. Northeast Alberta Food Marketers Association, that's coming up. They're doing a Head Start business program for kids, a junior market program, and a couple more tourist incentive initiative and trades directory mapping for the area here. And that's what they're up to, and the rest of the meeting is confident.
That's a lot.
Open Farm Days, that was April or
August 15th, 16th.
They're really expanding that from recent years, so.
Yeah, everything is-
Because they actually have a full-time person kind of coordinating that, so they're getting more and more operators to be able to come on, so. We had a few farms in our area participate that, so.
Yeah, it sounded like it was well attended and it was
Received, yeah.
well received, thank you.
Well, and is there some farms that just do it every year too, and then some kind of come in and?
In and out, yeah, because I know there's Charlotte Lake Farms in Bonneville, they've been doing it every year. I think Teocal Ranch just started the last couple of years, and so they're really benefiting from it, so, yeah.
Perfect. All right, thanks, Dwayne. Lakeland DMO.
So I'm still kind of getting my bearings with that. I did a lot of it ended up for me being looking stuff up on the website and stuff and trying to figure out exactly what it was. But a lot of it was going over budget and stuff like that. We talked a lot of it was concentrated on how do we support each other. You know, it's a fairly large area, a fair number of municipalities, and you know, how do we get people together and get energy or whatever you want to call it. We also talked a little bit. Shoot, now I'm going to forget what it was called. Basically, it was a road trip program where they had programming where you would go through all these different municipalities, and apparently there were people who went to something like 200 municipalities, and they had a report on the fact that, yeah, a lot of people were involved in this and going and supporting local business. So that was really encouraging. I looked a little bit on the website just to see if we were even in there. I did find us. Yeah, and then we had round table. I didn't have too much to contribute because I was ill prepared. But
time to learn all these things.
Yeah, I'll get it.
Absolutely, you will.
Better notes and have them with me when I'm here.
Perfect. Okay, Nago. You, me?
Yeah. Into the, yeah.
Okay, so we met in Beg on Thursday. And so NAGO is Northeastern Alberta Alliance for Growth and Opportunity. It was originally formed to focus on Highway 28, which is a major project. And it's still a priority for them, but they have also moved into, oh God,
Healthcare.
healthcare and
Distribution plays.
oh yeah, the utilities distribution.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so when we were there, there was 29 of us, I think, that were there from Northeast. So there was lots of good conversation. They are looking at the next meeting being in April, which is during the local two
To form, yeah.
it's a forum in Beg.
Development, yeah.
And so they're hoping to entice the elected official to possibly attend the forum and then have our meeting probably, and I'm thinking it's going to be the Thursday sometime after the forum wraps up that day. They are wanting us to reach out to our Indigenous neighbors to see if they're willing or wanting to join. Some of the feedback they've received prior was the focal point of NAGO is very broad and it's not benefiting one specific community, even though in a roundabout way, it affects us all, but sometimes the communities along Highway 28 are affected more, we're not. But so sometimes the Indigenous don't necessarily want to participate if it doesn't affect them directly. So that's why I would like to reach out to Frog Lake to see if they would be interested in joining that. What else? Oh, and then there is a possibility with Alberta Hub and NAGO integrating. So that will be a topic of conversation.
That'll probably come up on the 30th here. Yeah.
It's been talk for the last 2 years, but yeah.
Well, I think now that the funding is going to be coming to an end, it's probably going to be, talked about a lot more.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, before, Alberta Hub was not in the place to lobby or do anything because they're getting government funding. Without government funding, they have more of a wide range of they can and cannot do something.
So if that happens, then there will be things that will need to be tweaked and figured out how everything's going to operate and stuff. So it's, anything else, Daryl?
No, so you hit all the points.
Okay. All right. Regional Joint Council. That was a relatively short meeting.
Mhm.
And it was basically, we covered, I think you kind of went through this in your report.
Yeah, there was a presentation on the rural network, the transportation study. So that was a presentation on that. And then also a presentation by staff regarding the renewal stream and how I'm gonna go forward with that. Cause I was gonna have it, this meeting is gonna be the next meeting. They pulled it and we're gonna bring the next meeting of what we're gonna do with that renewal stream and how we're gonna present that. And if we're gonna be part of that. So I'll have more information at the next council meeting. So that came up as well. And then there were some conversations about, and I'll bring that to the next council meeting as well, conversations on how we want to, presented by the CEO, Jason Wall-Smith, and how we want to go forward, negotiate the recreational report, if we want to do a strict administration or have a subcommittee set up. And it looks like, so that will bring back and see how we want to do that, because we do have a history of 5 years and how we renew that and how we go forward. Recreation funding and working with the county and town of St. Paul and also the so there's ones where we have just negotiations with the county, but there's also different municipalities. So the Quag Center will all pay towards that, and then also here the LAR Center we all pay towards that as well. So that's all going to come up, and you're going to see we want to get that done here in the year 20. We have until the end of 2026, so we want to get that going on and how we want to start that process. I don't think it'd be as hard now. There's more knowns because we've done this for 5 years now, so it should be a lot easier when we do that.
And with the renewal, I think
think I feel comfortable presuming somewhat that it seemed like most people were not in favor of continuing on.
Yes and no. I think I think the county doesn't have as much as the towns and the town and Elk Points. I think we had 13 requests in that renewal stream. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, there's 13 in there, so there was some benefit to it. I think as to how it was administered and how it was handled. And I think what they're looking at, if they do go forward with it, is that they don't do international. There are people, we go look at people that are already in Alberta. And then they're transitioning to come to Elk Point instead of trying to get them right from another country. And then that became a long process and became a difficult process. So that's kind of some of the recommendations that come forward. You'll probably see it at the next meeting.
Yeah, it's always been where even as far as that goes, what we decide or whatever, it was very, it wasn't put together with how it was wanted to be run. And it was left up to everybody to run it how they felt it should be run. And without proper guidance, and now that there's more structure and everything else within the rural renewal stream system and how they want to plan on going about it, it really comes down to even the amount of people that are involved in it. If you have a mass amount, the way the last time I was explained by the group that does it, basically you have a year to achieve your goal of becoming a resident or becoming involved in it and making a transition Elk Point or St. Paul or whatever. But if you don't, then it gets put back into it again and you go back in the system to go and redo the whole thing again. So you could be in that system forever.
Right. It sounded like it was like even all your endorsement letters and things like that expired and you had to go back to your municipality. And then also, I believe the new information was that we were being given, was it it used to be you unlimited people. Now it's going to be a small quota, I believe.
Yeah, and so you get it back, and because they did that lapse, we have to reapply anyway. So there's no guarantee we can get back into the system.
Yeah.
And then you can make it as broad or as narrow as you want. You can say it's just trades or just health work or whatever you want to do. So that's going to come back as well. I think there's still some room for it. I think Tim's right. How it was administered was difficult. And if we narrow it down where people are ready in Alberta, we're not dealing with out of country, I think it'll make it a lot better for us as well. So you're going to see that coming back next council meeting. So.
That was really good. All right. Can we get a motion to approve the committee minutes and reports, please?
I'll make that motion.
Dwayne. All in favor? Dwayne. All right. I was hoping to have some information regarding the Ronald Post, but I did not get it, so I will share that at another meeting. Anybody have any acknowledgements and concerns today? Okay. Everybody submitted their time sheets. All right. With that, can I get a motion to go into closed session at 8:09? Thank you, Sean. All in favor? Carried. All right, welcome back. Thank you for your patience. At 8:23, Dwayne made a motion to come out of closed session. We have one motion to make regarding the legal audit. Can I get a motion to accept that as information? Thank you, Sean. All in favor? That is carried. Meeting